Hey guys, I know it's been quite a while since I've made a video. Actually, I got suspended from any live streaming for a while, but I finally got that all resolved, so that's good to go. So, in the near future, I'll be doing some more live streams. Probably start off with playing a little Skyrim, something, just casual. Just because I want to get some feedback from everybody of what is good times that you would like, to see me streaming, or any ideas of stuff that you would want me to stream. It doesn't matter too much as long as I got to be careful. I can't do any Fox News or CNN or any of that type of stuff because that's what got me shut down in the first place was news media. So other things seem to be okay, Facebook Live, that kind of thing. But independent stuff. But as far as major networks, that's out. I can't afford to risk it again. But with that said, like I said, leave me some comments of a good time you would like me to do my first kind of a welcome back stream, and I can explain more things at that point. Actually, interact with everybody. So I just want to make sure it's a time that's convenient for the majority. So that's going to be one thing that I do want to definitely do is have an interaction with everybody. But but on another note, though, another reason I wanted to make this video, as you guys have seen videos of mine in the past, which is what this channel was originally based on, was gold and silver. So I thought I'd do something a little humorous. As you can see, I've got the gold and silver prices and other things that's live in the background at the time I'm streaming this, or recording this I should say, which is 10:22 a.m. Eastern time on the 18th of January. But I just thought it'd be kind of funny to hear some of your guys' stories as well. But this will be comical things that you have heard either from coin shops or just anybody selling coins in general. It's had coins for sale, something that's, just funny, anyway. And I've got two prime examples. They're not what you say recent, but they both happened. One was here in town and one was out of town. So I'll start off. I was with my dad. We was at the flea market, which they have the first weekend every month here. They've had it forever. And it was in the summer, it was warm out, and there was a lot of vendors outside, and there was a guy there. I would say he was probably in his 50s anyway. Had an old van and stuff. He was selling stuff. And I was just glancing. And he had some coins. Mainly just clad state quarter, junk that I wasn't interested in. But he did happen to have a tray of the Sacagawea dollars. The original design, if I'm not mistaken. And he had $1.25 a piece on them. And I thought to myself, well, they're just common. I mean, they're nothing special. So I asked him, I said, what's the deal with these? Why are they, worth any more than ones I can go get from the bank? I said, they are kind of shiny, but, I didn't think much of them. He said, they're straight from the mint. Now that really piqued my interest. They're straight from the mint. Because I know if you buy something from a mint, from the U.S. Mint, you're going to pay a premium. And I don't know what those sell for from the mint, but he would have had to have charged more than $1.25 anyhow. So I told him I was curious and wanted to know, how he was able to get them at that price. And he tells me and my dad, he says, well, come here. I can't let too many hear this. I'm thinking, I'm kind of skeptical at this point. So we go over by his van, and he says his brother works for the mint. I said, oh, okay, so he must have an opportunity to buy these, when they're first made or some kind of deal. And he says, no. He said, it's better than that. It doesn't cost anything. And I'm like thinking, the mint doesn't give anything away, especially coins. I said, well, then how's it done? He said, every couple months or so, his brother comes to visit and brings him all kinds of coins. Just whatever's being made. I said, well, what's the deal? He said, the mint's not as secure of a place as people realize. He said, that's all just a false front. He said they got one security guard. So at this point, I know it's a bogus story, but the guy goes on, he said, there's one security guard, and that's it. And he said, every day around noon, security guard goes to lunch. So when that happens, he said his brother is a press operator, and when nobody's paying attention, he loads his pockets full of coins, and then he waits until, like I said, about noon when the security guard goes to lunch, and then he tells his co-workers that he wants to take a quick break to go smoke a cigarette or something. And he runs out to his car, empties all the coins in his pocket, out of his pockets and stuff, and comes back and finishes out the day, goes to work, whatever. And then every couple months when he comes to visit, he gives me all these coins. I sell them here at the flea market and other places. We split the money and everybody's happy. He said, that's how I'm able to get these and sell them to you at such a discount, whereas it would cost you considerably more than this price, you know, if you were to go out anywhere else and buy them. And the guy's got like the most straight-faced, I mean, nothing out of the ordinary, you know, thinks it's totally legit. And I actually bought 2 coins off of him. Yeah, I know they were not worth it, but for the 50 cents extra I paid, it was worth that, just seeing the guy tell his story. I mean, it was just comical. I mean, the guy was so straightforward, sincere, and almost like he believed it himself. I mean, it was pretty funny. So, the last story I've got, it was, I'm thinking it was last year, if I'm not mistaken. Could have been the year before, but anyway, me and a friend of mine went to actually another flea market, a lot bigger one. It was about an hour from here or so. And we're messing on it. It was Caesars Creek in Ohio. It's in, I forget exactly where. It's over toward the Dayton area. But anyhow, we're over there, and there's another guy there who's got a little booth set up, and it's got the same routine, clad state quarters and all that junk. And ever since I put it together several years ago, I made a pendant. I don't know if I can, I doubt it'll show on the camera, but anyway, you can see the size of it anyhow. It's a 1/10 ounce silver round of an Incuse Indian. You know, the old design from early 1900s. And I never really thought much of it. It's, you know, a couple dollars piece of silver, you know, 10th ounce, no big deal. Size of a dime. That's actually what the bezel I've got it in. The size is for a dime. But anyhow, I'm over there looking at his stuff, kind of bent over the counter there, looking at the stuff in the case, which, like I said, is nothing that was worth really anything. But the guy comes up to me, and he keeps, like, kind of looking at me kind of weird. And I'm finally asking him, I'm like, you know, what's going on? You know, kind of just making small talk. And he says, that piece around your neck. I said, yeah, what about it? He said, do you know what you have? And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, it's a couple dollar piece of silver. I've sold hundreds of them on eBay in the past. You know, nothing out of the ordinary. You can buy them anywhere. And I said, well, it's just an old silver round, is what I told him. He says, you might want to take a second thought of wearing that. And I thought, why? He says, well, those coins were originally struck in gold. I said, I'm aware of that. I mean, I've had one in the past. And he says, but what it appears to me is you have a mint error that's worth probably tens of thousands of dollars. He said, I've never seen one in all my years of dealing in coins like he's some hotshot. And he says, you know, it's worth all this money and, you know, condition and all this. And he goes on for a good 2 or 3 minutes just of how rare it is and all this. And I finally just had to stop him. I said, sir, it's not rare. It's nothing. He says, I know what I'm doing. You know, I've been in the business for a long time. And he's a younger guy, too. Probably only in his 40s. So eventually I grabbed it. And he says, well, at first he said, can I see it? So I let him look at it. But he never flipped it over. So after he goes on his whole spiel of, you know, how rare and all this, I turned the round over. And on the back it says 1/10 ounce silver Golden State Mint. The guy was so embarrassed, he turned red as a fire truck. I mean, he just felt like the biggest idiot in the world, and I just walked away. So, yeah, those were a couple stories just thought were kind of humorous. Well, I do have one extra. This is one I had from actually trying to sell coins. It's the only crazy story I've ever had when I was trying to sell stuff. It was a Craigslist ad, which I done quite well on after the fact. But I had some half dollars for sale, and I had, I think, $13 a piece on them, or somewhere around there. It's been quite a while back. Silver was a lot higher. But anyway, I listed, I don't know, I think I had 2 or 3 rolls, whatever it was, and had them listed for a couple days, and I got a phone call from a guy, and he says that he's trying to give me a friendly warning about having coins up for sale. And I said, well, what's the big deal? It's just, you know, silver and all that. Nothing out of the ordinary, I didn't think. He said it was against the law and that he could turn me in, but he was being a nice guy. I said, what do you mean against the law? He said, that's a 50-cent piece, right? I said, yeah. He said, you're charging $13? I said, yeah. He said, that's illegal. You're not allowed to sell a coin for more than the face value. I said, what's the point? I'd just spend it. He said, well, that's not the issue. He said, it cannot be sold for more than its face value under some federal law. I said, well, then how do all the coin dealers on TV and APMEX and Provident and all the other, you know, big name places, how do they do it? He says, you familiar with firearms? I said, well, yeah, what's that got to do with anything? He said, a firearms dealer has to apply for a federal firearms license, correct? I said, yeah, I'm aware. He said, a coin dealer does pretty much the same thing. They got to get a federal coin dealer's license that allows them to be able to sell coins for more than the face value. I was like, man, whatever. I said, I've sold countless coins all over the place. Never an issue. I said, go to eBay. There's everything on there. He says, well, eBay holds the license, and by them having a special license, they have what they call a public reseller license, so that they can allow people like us to, you know, put stuff on there. I said, whatever, and just hung up. Well, a couple hours later, maybe 2 or 3 hours went by, and I got another phone call from a different area code, but with, you know, apps and stuff, I'm sure it could be easily faked. And it was a girl this time, and gave me pretty much the same story. So I left the coins up there for another day or so, and someone else called, and I was like thinking already, like, oh no, another one of these. But it was somebody that actually sent his wife up here, about an hour drive, and actually bought just about all of them I had. So it worked out, but that was just a very crazy experience, to say the least. Especially getting the 2 calls. I don't know what kind of scheme they were trying to pull, because they didn't, you know, offer to take them off my hands or any of that kind of stuff. They didn't try to impersonate some, you know, legal person of law or anything. Just they said it was a friendly warning, which I thought was quite odd. But if anybody else has got any, you know, crazy stories or anything, something kind of off the wall that's just funny in general, not where somebody's literally trying to deceive you, but just, you know, just something that was just funny anyhow. And what you did about the situation. Did you buy the coin just because they had such a good story, or, you know, you just laugh, walk off, you know, what'd you end up doing? I just thought it'd be kind of neat to hear some of the stories and kind of, I don't know, maybe start something in the comment section. But yeah, I just thought, you know, for a background, since I'm kind of playing around with the software I've got a little bit. It's also the software that I stream with. It's OBS. It's free. Nice software. And I'm using a new microphone that I bought. It's called Blue Snowball, because it's about the size of a softball. Pretty nice mic. So yeah, leave me a comment as far as that goes too, how the audio quality is. This is the first video I've made for YouTube where I've actually used this. So if anybody that hasn't seen any of my other videos, if you could just click on one of them and you know, go back to some of my older videos where you can actually see me in it, because a lot of my live streams I didn't actually say anything because I was streaming, you know, whatever. But go back to one of my older videos and just see how much the audio quality is, if it's improved, or I'm sure it hadn't got worse. And just let me know, like I said, in the comments of how it works and stuff. So, and if you like this format, I can keep this format when I'm doing videos, because I'm, you know, very rarely am I actually showing anything on the camera. You know, maybe a coin or something, but most of the time it's just me rattling on about whatever. So I just thought the backdrop of the little portfolio thing there, whatever you want to call it, the ticker, but just a nice little gesture, you know. So, like I said, just leave any comments that you want down at the bottom, good, bad, or otherwise. And the main thing being, though, let me know a good time that works for the majority that you would like to see some live streams. I would like to do some streams of maybe some different games or just, you know, whatever. So, with that being said, you know, not a whole lot more been going on here, so stay tuned for the next video. Be sure to, you know, like, favor, subscribe, all that, you know, kind of stuff. And if you want and you feel inclined to, beside the subscribe button, there's that little bell icon. You can hit that and you'll be notified whenever I decide to, you know, make another video. So thanks for watching and have a nice day.